There's a saying that says, if you want to go fast, you go alone.
Go alone.
If you
When you
want to go
go
far,
far, go together.
so when you go together as a group with one mission, you tend to get a lot more audience and recognition
Yes, absolutely.
than if you go by yourself trying to move
Yes,
the elephant.
yes.
You don't get a lot of recognition if you go by yourself. I think your
Yes, sir.
whole plan and desire will probably be killed by your family meeting before you.
If you're hungry, if you are willing to learn, and you have the hunger to work hard, today you'll learn from a gentleman who is a very successful business guru, but more importantly, one who applies himself. He did not come here and nobody offered him a silver platter when he arrived America, but he's worked so hard to accomplish so much. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the world famous. Yes, in my world, he's a world famous Dr. Adekunle Tometi of Dallas, Texas. Dr. Tometi, good afternoon. How are you doing today, sir?
Good afternoon, Dr. Gideon. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm glad you could squeeze in some time to come talk to us about business, doing business in America. I have a sense that doing business in America requires a certain kind of personality. It requires a certain kind of mindset. And I don't know many people who can break it down as you can. I just want to be open.
Mm.
Sometimes I'm in business. I struggle. I really struggle. But when I see professionals like you who have done it at a very high level, I doff my hat. So I want to ask, what does it take? What's the mindset? Is it a certain kind of food? Is it a certain kind of physique? What does it take to be successful in business in America with all your years of experience in Dallas and beyond?
Well, firstly, I want to thank God for today. Uh, we're both here, we're healthy. Uh,
Thank you.
there are many people who at this time have challenges, but God has spared us and given us that favor of good health. And
Yes, doc.
I use that as a point of contact for those who suffer at this time. God should heal them.
Thank you.
Now, you asked me, what does it take to be successful in America? It's you and I were talking about the many places you walked in before. It's the same
Yes.
thing, even here.
Mm. Mm.
It's preparation.
Oh,
You have to be prepared.
prepared.
During that course of preparation, I think it was with the apostles where they were about to go into the upper chamber day of Pentecost. Even
Mhm.
after that, they were asked to tarry in Jerusalem,
Mm.
wait for a time to discover yourself.
Mm.
During that time, you must set out a time for which you should learn that environment,
Yes.
learn the business environment, learn the rules, regulation of that environment. You
Mhm.
just don't jump in without preparation. And some of the things I tell people all the time is, if you're hoping to be successful, wherever God has placed you at this time, be
Yes.
thankful for it, give
Yes.
your very, very best,
Yes.
work as hard as you can,
Yes.
learn all that you need to learn for your next role,
Mm.
scrub every opportunity they give you.
Yes.
Because if you don't apply yourself strongly and well when you transition to your own place, it is that same habit that will follow you. And
Mm.
you would have people that will work for you that will bring such habits to you. If you haven't operated higher than that level, you would not even know how to hold them accountable. So it starts from where you are at the moment, no matter how
Mhm.
small it looks to you or to the world. It is in
Yes.
fact the place where you're supposed to tarry, is your
Mhm.
Jerusalem. You're supposed to learn. It is in
Yes.
that place that you plan for the future. That is when you get all the intelligence you need to get around your business, because
Mm.
intelligence is the most important thing about business.
Mm.
You know, we always say location, location, location. It's intelligence that determines that. We talk,
Mm.
we talk
It's
about
almost like
uh,
Aaron and
mhm.
uh, Caleb going
Yes,
ahead to go check
yes.
out the location,
You have to have
check
that
out the
intelligence.
location, have the
Indeed.
intelligence. What
Yes,
is your point of entry? What's going to be your
indeed.
point of attack? Now, Doc,
Fantastic.
you just struck a very very hot point there,
Yes,
and I mean
yeah.
this is already getting to me right away so early. I normally don't bring this my vuvuzela out this early, but I'm forced to bring it out to already give one blast because you brought the goods already right on the first point, Doc. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Now,
that,
when you
that
talk about
intelligence is
preparation,
key because when I work at big corporations, when
yes,
I led over 500 pharmacists and staff at CVS for about 8, 9, 10 years.
mhm.
Those big corporations that are successful, they spend a lot of money on intelligence. What people see
Mm,
as success on the front end, you
mhm.
don't know how much
Put in.
they've implanted into
Mm,
intelligence. See, so
fantastic.
the business you want to operate in, you are in, you like to sell insurance,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And what type of insurance are you going to sell?
Mhm,
Is
mhm.
depending on the intelligence you've gathered about the client that are
Mm,
close to you.
mm.
You want to go into a business of providing phone services. You want to do Metro PCS. You go to South Lake.
Mhm.
Nobody uses Metro PCS there.
No, wrong location, wrong location.
Indeed. So everything is about intelligence, which helps you with preparation.
Mm,
Part of your preparation too is you have to set realistic goals.
mm,
What training do you need? Where do you get
mm.
it? How long will
Mhm.
it take you?
Wow.
Your business, what's the projection? How much sales do you intend to make?
Yes.
How are you going to get there?
Yes.
What are the extra help that you need? You are a pharmacist like me.
Mhm.
I am very good at drug knowledge, but
Mm,
do I know how to do bookkeeping? I don't.
mm,
Do I know
mhm.
how to prepare and file my taxes? I don't. So, do you
Mhm.
need some other professionals that you need to hire
Yes.
on retainer
Yes.
so that all your bases are covered?
Thank you.
Do you
And
need
the
relationship with a bank? Do
yes.
you need relationship with regulators? All
Yes.
of these things are things that preparation
Mm,
and time and
mm.
goals that you set will
Wow.
help you determine and help you also be successful in business. A lot of the
Mm.
challenges we face amongst our
Yes.
people and their businesses, most people don't know an exit plan for their business. When I start a business, begin to write my business plan, the first thing I develop is the exit plan. What
Mm.
would happen?
Starting with the end in mind.
Yes, what would
Mm.
happen for me to determine that this business is ripe enough for sale?
Mm.
What would happen for me to determine that this business over the next 6 months, 12 months, based on the things I have to work with, is not going to make it, that I need to
Mhm.
pivot now, sell, take what I can get, and move on.
I see.
So, without people having an idea of what the future of the business will look like in the environment they operate,
Mhm.
oftentimes they operate blindly, and that is a challenge. You will
And
see a lot of,
it will be the cause of their death. It will be the cause of their death in the battlefield.
I know you see a lot of people that you're going to a business, you don't have your business projection planned out. You don't
Mm.
have your P&L. What are you looking at? You don't
Mhm.
even get that every month or every quarter. So people often assume that they're successful, whereas they're rotting underneath. So those are some of the things I have done. Not
Thank you.
so because I am so brilliant, but I spent a lot of time in corporate America
Mhm.
seeing and learning those things for a much lesser wage than I'd have earned if I was a
Mm.
pharmacist. bench, but I did that because I wanted to learn business in this environment.
That's amazing. And without that, when you step out to do your own business, you would have suffered. But before we get to that, let us take one step back or 2, 3 steps back. Before coming here from home, were you already in a pharmacy environment? And what did you do before you became a pharmacist? Because it appears that preparation started from there.
Oh,
Because
yes.
when you got to America, you were able to take advantage of what you had, and then you went on from there.
Sure. I went to pharmacy school in Nigeria. And I graduated the University of Ife. That was the number one pharmacy program in the country. In 1988, I worked in Nigeria for GlaxoSmithKline as a medical representative, as a salesman, and senior medical representative. I did that, and then I decided to try my hand in entrepreneurship. I've always loved to look. Salesmen are always very superbly dressed, so I've always loved to be in the clothing business.
Okay.
So I took time out and I decided to do male apparel. So I clothed a lot of young men, clothed a lot of people, make good money, better than my pharmacist salary.
Oh, really? While you were still working for GlaxoSmith?
No, I'd left them. I totally left them and went and did my own thing. So I've always been somebody who I thrive on knowledge. I like to read and educate myself a lot. So there are many things I've learned or I've read that I don't just limit myself to pharmacy practice.
Yeah. That is amazing.
So some of those things are some of the things that helped me in growth in that department. And when I had the opportunity to leave Nigeria in 1998, my wife and my eldest son, I left with a plan. I told myself that on my 10th year of working in America, it doesn't matter how rosy or how I am, I'm going to leave that job and I'm going to start my own business. I gave myself that goal even before I left Nigeria. And the reasons why I chose 10-year mark. 10 is the number of redemption. At that 10-year mark, I told myself I'm going to learn the pharmacy business environment in America is new to me. I am going to learn leadership environment in America. In fact, I remember when I became a huge leader with so many people to lead in America, the first thing that was glaring to me was our paradigm of leadership is different in America than back in Nigeria or back in Africa. Back in Africa, when you're the boss, all your subordinates do everything possible to please you, including go and pick your child in school, wash your car if need be. They do a lot of extra jobs that it's not their job just to get on your good books. When I got to America, it was totally different. You, the boss, have to please your subordinates, get into their good books so that they can do their job that you're paying them to do. Why they quit every minute?
You have to be a servant leader.
You have to be a servant leader. Back in Africa, you have to be a manager leader. You have to be it was totally different. So I learned that. I also learned the regulations. I learned that this is a totally different economy. This is a credit society. It's not the society from which we come where everything is cash. Then I learned the credit system because you really can't do a lot with your money in this country. You can do a whole lot with other people's money.
With other people's money, yes.
For you to have access, you must understand the credit system.
Yes.
So those were 10 years that I learned all that.
Mhm.
And on my, I think my 10th year was January the 1st, 2008. That
Mhm.
was the day we opened our first pharmacy.
Oh my God. I want to pause this, Doug, for a minute because you just let out some amazing gems there. I hope our viewers are listening. Most people just kind of like blindly walk into the battlefield called America. But to Dr. Tomedi, before he left home, he already made a determination that in 10 years, no matter how good it is, I'm going to quit and I will start sowing my own seeds. And what you're saying, Doug, is that 10th year came, you had acquired enough in terms of the knowledge, of the regulations, of the leadership style, and you went out and you planted your first business, your own pharmacy. I really wanted to summarize that because I want our people to be aware. Winning in America is not a mistake. There's a strategy, there's a thinking, there's a mindset behind it, and you're just nailing it. Did I summarize well what you did, or maybe I
Yes.
missed it? Maybe I screwed it. I'm
No,
sorry, but
no,
you
you did
absolutely struck the
summarize.
chord here with me. Yes, sir.
You
So
summarize.
you opened the first pharmacy. Was this in Texas? Was this in
Yes.
Iowa, in Arkansas, or where was that?
I've always lived in Texas.
Okay.
I've always actually lived in North Texas, DFW Metroplex. I opened that pharmacy in a city called Farmers Branch.
Farmers Branch. Yes, I'm familiar with Farmers
Yes.
Branch. Yes.
It was the most beautiful pharmacy I ever opened.
Wow.
Part of the learning I kept talking about is if we concentrate on just that which comes to us and learn and assimilate all that without looking outside the box and asking more questions, we may find ourselves with incomplete education. And I would try and keep this in real life. Even though I learned all and absorbed all that came across my table and my line of communication and connect in the pharmacy environment, there were one or two things that I wasn't exposed to that I found out the hard way.
Ouch. Ouch.
The first thing is, and this happens to a lot of us, when we're starting a new business, we put in all our effort, finances, everything up until the time we call T equals 0. What that time means, the day of opening.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't understand that everything we've done up until that day that we're opening the door is the easy part. We always thought that was the hard part. They say, build it and they will come.
Yes.
That was before competition. You can build it and they still won't come. One of the reasons why they come at the day of your opening that I wasn't privy to because I wasn't running those departments, or corporations have this department they call marketing.
Yes. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, this department, they do all the heavy lifting for you that you don't know. You're just so concentrated on the profession. And
it's good to hear this. It's good to hear this from someone from a background like yours, which is medical field. That is not exactly trained to think like a marketer, but fortunately, you came in with the brain of a sales of someone who had already done sales successfully back home. So marketing. I'll let you go with your
so you get everything ready, but at that time you've now run out of money. You didn't spend any money on marketing. So you build this fine business at the corner of the street. Everybody would just keep driving past it. There was no marketing done to direct their foot into that place.
Ouch, ouch.
That happens to a lot of our business. We struggle to the finish line of opening. We never set any budget aside for marketing. All of these corporations, they spend 3 times your annual sales in marketing just to make sure you don't open well.
Yes, sir.
I put a pharmacy in front of CVS. The whole sales are making 3 years. They don't mind spending it in 1 month and send coupons to everybody such that I don't open well. So I learned that the hard way at that first pharmacy. It was so beautiful, so nice. I still have some of these pictures, but I never spent any money on marketing. I never even considered it because I never spoke to the marketing department at CVS where I was. So that is the big lesson I tell people. As you plan your business, your most important thing you have to do is your market entry.
Yes.
How do you enter that market? You have to spend money on marketing, because if you don't, you will be stuck in that position from the first day. And we pray that your grand opening is not your grand closing. So that was
a big lesson. So, Doc, how did you turn this around? I know maybe you suffered some burns.
I suffered more than some burns, my brother. That pharmacy, and this is where planning is important.
Yes,
because you have to plan your projections. Yes. You really have to write those things down. For me, in my business as a pharmacist, when I'm opening a pharmacy, I have an idea of how much sales I want to make in the first year, in the second year, in the third year. I have an idea of what percentage of that I want to spend on labor. I have an idea up to the point that I break it down to how much sales I need to make every day. The commodity that we sell in our business is prescriptions. I have an idea of what is the average script price. Then I break it down to how many scripts I need to sell a day to come to that goal that I want.
Yes.
And I know that I'm just opening on the first week. I know that I have to graduate those sales up until the 52nd week of the year. Sometimes there's a 53 week, which you just take that as an added sale. So if you have those numbers and you're bouncing your performance with those numbers you set out, you can tell whether you are making progress or you're stopping. You can actually tell based on the things you have with you.
Yes.
The conditions. Are you going to be able to overcome this in the next 3 months? Are you going to overcome this in the next 6 months? Are you going to be able to overcome based on what you have in the next 12 months? With that pharmacy, I was able to determine very quickly. Now, one, we made a mistake with marketing. Number two, I was also able to determine that the competition, the big box pharmacists, CVS, Walmart,
right?
Those guys, they spend a ton of money on marketing.
Wow.
And directing prescriptions from the doctor's office straight to their If Gideon gets it,
do they spend more in terms of relationship building with the doctors and so on? I know you'll get to that, but I just wanted to drop that in. Or is it more?
It's direct to consumer.
Oh, okay.
That's why every time you turn on your TV, you see them.
I see.
If Gideon gets a prescription today, a doctor writes him a prescription and he has it in his hand. The first thing that comes to his head is not Amos Abuga, who has a pharmacy down the street. The first thing that comes to his head is CVS Walk.
I see.
Those have been subconsciously drilled into us because of marketing.
Now we almost don't think about the others.
We don't. See? So I learned very quickly that I need to find a way to redirect scripts from the doctor's office to CVS and get some diverted to me. So what did we do? We moved that pharmacy. We pivoted very quickly because we had the numbers that we're looking at. We are set out this. We're not running blindly.
I see. Okay.
So we pivoted very quickly. We moved that pharmacy. We moved it into a hospital complex.
Hospital complex.
Yes.
And you turned that overnight because I mean you've probably already put in a lot of you've done your stocking, you got your shelves, you got probably I know there's just-in-time delivery now, but maybe you have a warehouse and all of that. How do you turn it around into a hospital complex?
We collapsed the pharmacy after close of work on Friday. We opened it Monday morning at the new place.
No kidding.
Yeah, you sign the lease. That's it.
Yes.
And then you get, I have a team that build pharmacies for me. We just collapse it Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, we moved it, set it up, boom, we're ready. Monday morning, we're running. Now, because we are in a hospital complex, all the doctors and their offices are there, we're able to dampen the flow of prescriptions from going outside of the building to getting our own fair share.
Okay, but still within the same premises?
Yes.
Okay.
Same medical offices building where all the doctors are. That's where we had our house. So we're able to dampen the flow of scripts from the doctors are straight to the public, and then we're able to capture some and grow that business inside of that. We sold that business after 3 years to CVS. We made good money on
it. So my question, Doc, is that mindset, like, okay, I got to pivot right now. I got to turn it all over. It requires time, requires energy, requires financial resources. And even just the determination to say, you know what, I'm burning here, I'm burning. Some people see that and they just let it burn. But some people see that, like you had the inert resources to say, I got to turn it all around. Where does that conviction come from? Where does that,
Firstly, you have to be very nimble. You have to be very nimble. You have to be able to adjust the spin of a dime. And the only way you can know this and see this is because you've already drawn the roadmap for the business.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can tell it's not going according to plan.
According to plan. I see.
What are the things that I'm doing here? Or what are the things that I'm not doing? If I did it, would it change course? Or what are the things I'm doing? If I continue to do them, will it change course?
Yes.
If you can surmise that it would not, you had better just pivot and do something else. Because the definition of madness is to continue to do the same thing over and over.
Expect different result. Okay, that is really insightful. So, did you also have to turn overnight and build new relationships with the doctors in that medical complex? Or how did you get to reach them and persuade them to be ready for the new redesign?
Well, you have to continually build relationships. Okay. It's a continuum.
Yeah.
You can't stop in relation. Most of the things that I do now, in my area of practice of pharmacy, I just do them by phone call. I don't even have to go anywhere. I just, Gideon, I need you to take this. I need you to do this for me. People do it for me because of relationship.
Because you've invested the time.
I invested in them.
To build those relationships.
As I would, Gideon calls me, I need you. I say, no problem. We're here.
Thank you.
I tell you this, it's continual. I have had 20 Nigerian pharmacists that came from Nigeria that now practice in America that have gone through my pharmacies to do their internship, which is 1,500 hours they must do before they get licensed.
Yes.
And all of them are in this metroplex or in America, such that if I need anything, I just call. If a pharmacist calls me now, I need a job. By the time I was leaving CVS, I promoted a few people to district manager level. Understand that when I first got there, 2002, I was the only non-white out of like 40 people. And I didn't even understand it because I just come from Nigeria barely 3 years earlier. But I had this plan and this drive that 10 years, I will go through the whole chain. So now if somebody calls me, I need a job, I just pick up the phone and call CVS, Walgreens, wherever you are, I have people there.
Yes.
So relationship is a continuum. As you get into a place It is also in the Bible. You want to make sure that you live in harmony with your neighbors.
Yes, sir.
So you have to invest in relationship. Once you invest in relationship, a lot of heavy lifting will be done for you, even without you doing it.
Thank you so much for mentioning that, because most people think the world owes them a living. But I lived in Singapore close to 10 years. And the prime minister of Singapore, the first prime minister, the first guy who was able to take a country from third world to first world in less than 30 years, Lee Kuan Yew, he said, the world doesn't owe us a living. We get to work for our own living. We get to earn it by our own bootstraps. So what I hear you saying here is, if you want it, go out and build those relationships. Because if you don't build it, they're not going to come to you. And it's something that we are very passionate about in the businesses that me and Pam were involved in. Cultivate the business. Cultivate it. It's going to come. If you don't cultivate it, if you don't build it, it's not going to come. So I want you to talk about the power of cultivation, because what you've done there is you've cultivated 20 pharmacies. And those are only those from our community. I'm sure there are dozens and dozens of others that you've also cultivated. Talk about the power of cultivating, so that when you need help, they will be ready to help you. Because that, to me, is a big difference between the people that win and those that don't win. Those that don't win think that, oh, the world should come to me. The world owes me a living. But those that know that the world doesn't owe me a living, I have to go out there, make these relationships work, so that at some point, if I need help, they can come to me. Talk about the power of winning through a cultivation mindset in America, because you were not born and raised here, Doc. You came in from outside, but you've dominated, you've won, you've been able to raise other new pharmacists who are doing great things across America. And the truth is in the pudding. Now the president-elect of the Nigerian Pharmacists Association. But talk about the power of cultivation before we talk about the association.
Well, I've always known that we're only as strong as our weakest link. That is, to me, that none of us should be found weak, meaning all of us should be empowered. It is always good when all of us are successful. I've always believed that I've never seen my professional colleagues as competition. Never.
Yes.
I've always seen them as resource.
Thank you.
A lot of people, you're in the same business with somebody, and then you just take them as enemy. No.
That's so old school.
So, people, if you do that, both of you are short-circuited. I learned very quickly my calling, and I've always walked in my calling. And my calling is people empowerment, meaning that now that I've narrowed it down to pharmacists, it is pharmacist empowerment, meaning that capacity building, where people need training.
Yes.
Example is here in America, we pharmacists, if you want a vaccination now, pharmacy is the place you go to.
Yes.
Why? There's a pharmacy at least 5 minutes from everybody's home. You don't need an appointment. You don't have to go book an appointment, see a doctor to sit in his office for hours.
Yeah.
We have all the shots. If you go to the pediatrician, you only get pediatrician level shots. You go to a specialist doctor, you only get the one that is known. Or you go to the pharmacy, everybody now in pharmacy can give immunization. But these things are not, we take it for granted. But back home, pharmacists in Cameroon, pharmacists in Nigeria, they still find it difficult or are not able to do that.
Yes.
What me and my team have done, we've taken that training to Nigeria. As I speak to you, we've trained and empowered over 500 Nigerian pharmacists now that are licensed, that actually now give vaccinations. In fact, the performance of the Ministry of Health during the COVID years was because of those people we trained. It was because of we trained. Just hold on a minute. Let me show you something. And in fact, the Texas Pharmacy Association, put that training program that we did, highlighted our team, and put us on the cover for for a quarter.
Hmm.
See, so in developing each other,
Mhm.
weight that you carry becomes a lot less.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing is creating opportunity for people to be the best that they can be.
Yes.
When people come to me, they're pharmacists, they need places to do their internship, they need placement for work. I take it as one of my duties and calling,
Mm.
and I
Wow.
provide that opportunity for them. Now that I've been here so long, I've done a lot of it. In fact, some of the people I've set up,
Mhm.
I now tell them to help set up new people.
Why not? Yeah, you're giving them the
Because
capacity to do it. So you've
yes,
empowered them. Now they can do it to other people.
yes. So there is that power
Mm.
when everybody is successful. All of us
Was
are
are
successful.
successful. Absolutely. That is,
When everybody is successful, everybody is happy.
and nobody will be starving. Nobody will be hungry. Nobody will be feeling jealous because
No,
everyone has enough to eat to take care of themselves. That's
and
a
I think
mindset that
the most
we still
important
need.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, we need to understand that we should stop seeing colleagues, seeing other people that do the same thing we do or
As
something that is
competition.
allied to what we do as
Yeah.
competition. Rather, we
Yeah.
should see them as a resource. A lot of
Yeah.
these huge companies in this country, they didn't become that huge. They were
All right.
competitors that
Yeah.
merged, brought
Yeah.
their stuff together, say, you know what, we can actually do this leaner,
Yeah.
we can do this better. I
Yes.
always say, don't let competition, don't give them a chance, because if you do,
Yes.
they just might do it cheaper and better.
In fact, talking about these big pharmaceutical companies, pharmacy chains, there's been a lot of consolidation. It's been a lot of changes in the pharmacy market within America. I would like you to talk about how that has affected the pharmacy profession. A lot of consolidation, mergers, and acquisitions. Are they really helping the professionals who sit and help the public? Or are they mostly helping the big guys who are the stock owners or the corporations that try to give a good return on investment to the stockholders?
Well, there are two questions and two answers to that. Number one, mergers and acquisitions are necessary sometimes. I work for a corporation when I go here called Eckert Corporation. Eckert was bought over by J.C. Penney. I think over 4, 5, 6 years, they started trending down. They had to be rescued by being purchased by CVS. Because of that, over 10,000 people's job were rescued.
Okay.
Without that acquisition, those people
Okay.
would have gone
Gone
off
out.
to
Yes.
no
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Second, pharmacies in America are businesses. The commodity is drugs. You
Yeah.
can take all those drugs out of it and replace it with bubble gum and candy. It is still the same principle. It's
Yeah, yeah.
business.
It's business.
And the
Yeah.
people that own these businesses, just like you own a business, you want a return on your
An
money.
investment. Yeah.
You want to do it humanely. You want to do it in a manner that it doesn't totally negate or evaporate the engagement of the people that work there. But
Yes.
bottom line, you have to stay profitable. And
Yes.
this is why it looks like pharmacy owners often are concerned about turning a profit for the shareholders. The shareholders expect to make money. Okay. Now, the other part of it is as pharmacies begin to merge and as there's pressure on returns on investment. And now we're going to a season where people have to change the way they practice.
Yes.
There still remains a lot of opportunity. Opportunity in the sense that people can get more education, people can get better, people can choose areas in which they want to practice. This year, there's going to be a lot of talk about AI and healthcare.
Yes, I was going to ask about that.
Good. So if you're practicing like you practiced 10 years ago, you're probably not going to be relevant in this season. Okay. There's always a cost to, there's always a drive down on margins. Margins are based from when I started my first business, it was like 29% gross profit. I think now they're operating at about 4 or 5% gross profit.
Ooh.
So
that's very slim. It's almost negligible.
It's so razor thin.
Yes.
Okay, that is more like a restaurant business. It's so razor thin that if you don't manage cost and expenses, you're very likely not going to be in business for a long time. And then the biggest thing that takes the cost in most of this, in all of these pharmacies, understand this is a credit society. The goods, everything you get is actually on credit.
Yeah.
But you cannot credit or follow the payment of highly compensated professionals like pharmacists.
Absolutely. You cannot.
So the bottom line, when you look at the management control profit or expenses, is pharmacist payroll. Must make sure that what you're generating in the store is at least enough
to take care of them.
Pharmacists. Yeah. And this is why you see some pharmacies will close. When that business is no longer generating enough to pay the pharmacist, you're not going to take money from Gideon and use it to pay Paul.
Exactly. Okay.
America is such that they don't put emotions. If back home in Nigeria, you can keep moving it. Here, no. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You cut your losses, you move on. So that's why you keep seeing these mergers. You bring them together to reduce the cost. Okay? And you look for other ways in which you can continue to stay profitable. But those which refuse to change or will not continue to be profitable, they cut those losses and move on.
That is a bitter pill to swallow for some people because they are not willing to adapt. But for you, who is very adaptable, are you still actively creating, or call it founding, new pharmacies, individual or private pharmacies, and selling them to big names as you've done several times in the past? Is that still something you pursue, or you've shifted your business upstream or downstream, or you've pivoted into some other areas that are more lucrative?
My business plan, because when I was district manager at CVS, I used to buy pharmacies, small pharmacies, and pay them a lot of money that they couldn't make in 3-4 years. So I knew coming right out of corporate America that my business plan would be to build them and sell them.
I see.
When they're ripe.
Okay.
I wasn't one, and I still am not one that want to build it and hold it for life.
I see.
Because for everything, there is a lifespan. Even the building you call a church, when the Spirit of God has left that building, you better move with it. If you don't move with that Spirit of God, you'll be left holding the mortgage of that building and nobody will pay it.
Nobody comes.
It is the same too, even in business. There's always a lifespan. And when a life cycle is come across, people reinvent. For some, they don't want to reinvent. They don't even want to wait. And that's why I talk about exit strategy. Have I reached where I think I've plateaued? Because once you've plateaued, chances are you either then tick up or you start coming down. See, so once I get to that plateau season, which I design even before I open the doors, I know when it will come.
Okay.
It's time for me to move on. So right now, I sold my last business 18 months ago. And those people signed me up for 2 years. That 2 years come around May of this year. So for now, I am just resting. My brain is cool. I'm thinking of writing business. I'm thinking
for the next one. The next venture. Okay.
other things aside from pharmacy that I want to do.
Yeah.
So there is always that plan in my head.
I see.
Another pharmacy, except that the next pharmacy I'm going to do is not going to be the general type of pharmacy we used to do. Because the
Yes.
truth is, there's no more profit in selling products.
Yes.
I mean, it's those drugs on the shelf. There's no more profit in that, except you sell a very, very high volume, which we don't have in independent pharmacies anymore.
Capacity to do that, yes.
Yeah, so in order for you to continue in a specialist business like pharmacy, you must find a special niche for yourself. Are you going to be doing just infusion? Are you going to be doing sterile, non-sterile compounding? Are you going to determine, I say, I don't even want contact with any customer. I just want to do MTMs, medication therapy management. Are you going to determine and say, okay, I'm going to work in associations of pharmacists and help pharmacists overcome this season? So there are many areas that are opening up that we all have to be plugged in. Are you going to determine and join an AI firm and try to be on the forefront of how does that affect pharmacy practice? Where are you going to help build that machinery? Are you going to be joining a tech company to build systems that incorporate pharmacy, nursing, and medicine? So what is the doctors looking at, the nurses looking, you are also looking at to help make informed judgment at every point in time. So those are opportunities that are opening up that we all just have to be prepared to jump in when it is time to. And I'm looking at all the things that speak to you.
As you're counting down and finalizing the servicing of the 18 months deal, you're looking at new crevices, new opportunities to jump in and continue to create value. The thing that I have to absolutely applaud is you still make the time, even as busy as you are, to continue to serve. And you volunteer to serve as the president-elect of the Nigerian Pharmacists Association, which is a force to be reckoned with in America. I was fortunate to have been at one of your recent conferences in San Antonio, Texas. It was a fine event. But let me ask you this. Having served here for a long time, you've also served back home. What are the challenges you see for African expatriate pharmacists? What challenges do they face in terms of maybe taking some of the ideas, the good practices, best practices from here and helping our communities back home? Because this journey would be in vain if we learn all this knowledge, use it here, serve other people, and yet our brothers and sisters, our cousins are languishing back home. What is it that what is it that the modern pharmacist who is an expatriate can do to encourage knowledge transfer?
Well, firstly, there must be a commitment. And then for me especially, you must understand that I am in fact a Nigerian trained pharmacist. I may have gone to post back or my doctorate studies here in America, but in fact, I was trained and worked in Nigeria for 10 years before I came here. So I primarily see myself as a Nigerian pharmacist working abroad. Second, collaboration is key. We must identify people who have the same vision like we do, that we can collaborate with, that will help us transfer our know-how, our knowledge, and our technology back home. We've made it a little bit easier amongst Nigerian pharmacists because we now have our Nigerian Association of Pharmacists and Pharmaceutical Scientists in America, a highly reputable organization, which gives us a better foothold when we go back home in Nigeria and find like associations that we can work with to help us, give us a platform to introduce our programs. An example of what we've done is I told you about vaccination training.
Yes.
pharmacy education globally has gone to a 6-year doctorate degree program. Everybody now is offering PharmD. Until recently, Nigeria only offered the bachelor's program. We've grown as an association. We've discussed with the Pharmacists Council. We've discussed with the Nigerian Universities Commission. We've put resources in it. We've sent people. We've sent everything we can. Now that whole program has revamped. It is now all of Nigeria a doctorate degree program, as it is done university. So collaboration, the ability to want to get involved back in Nigeria. There's a saying that says, if you want to go fast, you go alone.
Go alone.
If you want to go
far, go together.
So when you go together as a group with one mission, you tend to get a lot more audience and recognition than if you go by yourself trying to move the elephant.
Yes.
You don't get a lot of recognition if you go by yourself. I think your whole plan and desire will probably be killed by your family meeting before you. But if you go as an association, the Minister for Health will listen to you.
Yeah, okay? That's absolutely true.
Associations will listen to you. So for those who want to do that, I can tell them that, number one, they probably might consider joining an association that has a footprint, that has a record of deliverables. Second, I think I was talking to the chairman of Nigerian Association of Pharmacists in the industry, the people that run pharmaceutical companies, and they wanted us in the diaspora to come and invest in Nigeria. I think I was talking to him. I told him it's going to be very difficult for anybody to take their hard-earned money here, remove it from their savings, and go and dump it into somebody else's business that they have no idea how that business is running, or is there anyone they can hold accountable? One of the things I'm talking about is, yes, our people want to participate in helping developing that sector of the economy. Why don't we talk about crowdfunding?
Okay.
Why don't we talk about crowdfunding?
So that people have fewer resources that are in harm's way or at stake, or could be at risk of losing all of them, which means they evaporate all their
and then they can track it and they know who to hold responsible.
Yes. Okay.
So in this case, we are talking to him, and we haven't really put that into work, but I think we will work on it to create it very workable for him. Because if we did that, he can say, okay, he identifies amongst his team who is that reputable business that we can say we want to raise $100,000 and give that person. And then they sit down, we sit down, we bring lawyers, they write the agreement. We put the money out.
Absolutely.
And then they are responsible for running that. In this case, those of us in the diaspora were actually investing and helping move that part of the economy forward. See, so is to create an enabling environment for people to feel confident and comfortable that whatever they're doing is going to be appreciated.
Thank you.
The third thing is you have to be selfless. The service that we do back home, that I do a lot, I think I was thankful that association actually appointed me to go sit at the Council of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria for 4 years. All that travel I did, like 4 or 5 times a year, was in my pocket. It wasn't paid for by anybody, but the commitment to bring change, the commitment to transfer knowledge, the commitment to bring about capacity building was so strong in me that I found that it was an extension of my calling, pharmacist empowerment. So if you find a small niche, like they say, each of us, if each of us do a small little thing, all of us can do that.
Absolutely. So in that light, of course, Nigeria is a leader, unquestionable. Is there any coordination between Nigerian pharmacists and other pharmacists from other parts of Africa because knowledge transfer, if it's done haphazardly or if it's done very fragmentedly, we may have some parts of Africa that are smiling and some parts that are continuously underserved. Is there any conversation? I'm just trying to be nosy here. Say those from the west coast of Africa, the east coast, the south, north of Africa, because we're basically a continent that has been left behind. I've operated in Asia, in Middle East. I've seen the infrastructure there. I've seen the way things run there. And whenever I've traveled in Africa, I just scratch my head. I'm like, okay, we still have a long way to go. Is there any coordination, any conversations in that area, or everyone is just doing their own thing quietly?
I think in the African continent, Nigeria especially, seems to be collaborating with other countries. I know that the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria has a working relationship with the Kenya Pharmaceutical Society. I know that there is a West African College of Postgraduate Study for Pharmacy. It's headquartered in Gambia right now. They move it all around. School is in Lagos. I know that they're working around to continue to build capacity amongst themselves.
Okay.
I think this is an opportunity you raise for us, even here in DFW in America. I know a lot of Ghanaian pharmacists. I know a few that have come to me, even in this office of mine. I've drawn their business plans for them, helped them with their pharmacies. I know a few other, I know Cameroonians. I know a lot of people. But our organization, though it says it's Nigerian Association of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Societies, this is America. Any organization you open, you can bar people
Others from belonging. I see.
Yes, you can. You might determine and say, our leadership must be this.
You cannot stop.
Yes, you can determine and say, okay, our goal is to continue to do projects in Nigeria, but you can't stop Ghanaians from coming. You can't stop other people. So we encourage people who are not Nigerians, because Nigerians seem to be the people who can organize a lot. We organize we organize at the village level. We organize at the tribe level. We organize at the professional level.
Which is good. Which is good. Credit. I mean, it's kudos and credit to ingenuity. You know, it's something that you have. Anyone who is observing has to acknowledge and has to admire that. When I lived in Singapore, the only major African community that was organized was Nigerian community. We had thousands of IT professionals. Likewise, there was some South Africans. There were other countries, but I mean, Nigeria was so far ahead that you know the others could not even see them. But what I want us to start wrapping up here is you're a man of faith. You don't shield your faith. You don't put it shrouded. You always, you know, your faith is part of you, and you're proud of that, and you use it. It informs you in doing good work. What is it about your faith that keeps you going, and you use it proudly in your service?
Well, my faith teaches me that I need to love my neighbor just as me. My faith also teaches me that all my needs are supplied according to his glory. My faith teaches me not to worry too much. My faith teaches me that everything I need, he has provided for me. My faith teaches me also that I am supposed to be a steward that opens the door and keeps it open. There are two types of people that get to a place. One will keep the door open for everybody. Those people are the ones who are very successful.
That's right.
There are some other people, they will shut that door. And only them. Unfortunately, those kind of situations are also time sensitive. There come a time that they're no longer relevant in that place that is shot. I've always taken that area of empower people. That's what my faith teaches me. Feed people the word, feed people, teach them how to fish, make yourself readily available. Also in terms of need, meet people with the relevance of their need.
I
Not
see.
that I can't pay my mortgage. You're like, okay, God will provide. No, 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 no. Give me something towards that.
Yeah.
Again, I cannot. I've done all this without my wife.
Mm.
When you come from a place where your wife is more gung ho than you, even on faith, when you come from a place where your home is peaceful, you come from a place where you have a lot of support.
Yes. Yes.
I think when we came to America, it was my ambition that was at the forefront.
Mm.
My wife kept hers quiet
Mm.
and took care of the children while I kept climbing all this ladder. Years to come later, we had to call and say, okay, I think we're balanced now. What do you want to do? And we did everything we could to set her up in our own goal for her to walk in our
Fantastic.
own.
Fantastic.
So once you have faith, you have you continue to walk towards a good home, because it's still a challenge every day.
Yes. Yes.
And you have contentment.
Yeah.
You will go through challenges, but those challenges are not for you to stay stuck. I think I had a huge challenge. Once my eldest son was in an accident, he broke his neck. And one of the things that that thing taught me is for me to develop the ability to discern and to be able to pay attention to the things that I'm not seeing or I'm not noticing. I'll tell you this, because of that, I now realize that every government building in America has an easy access where you press a button, the door opens.
Yes.
Every government building in America has a ramp.
Yes.
Where people can put a ramp in.
Yep.
Prior to that time, I never ever
noticed it. I see.
Prior to that time, I would be a pharmacist. Somebody on a wheelchair will call me to help. I felt it was disturbing me. Prior to that time, I never knew that some people, their gaze is always 45 degrees up so that they can see them. Prior to that time, I never knew that a blind person would be asking me questions about something by feel, and I wouldn't know. Prior to that time, I would probably park in a disabled parking lot, say I want to run in and run out. I didn't understand things. See, so you go through this so that you are taught these lessons and you take it and become an advocate. Such people who are not able. So life experiences has taught me a lot. It's the same thing too, even in pharmacy, as I empower people. There are people, you are probably just their ticket to get into the next place. So I tell myself, and I've been fortunate really, where people have really never been to, I always get there.
Yeah.
Either first, or I get there and change the narrative. And I've always realized that I'm not there to stay. I'm there to open the door for everybody.
For others to come in.
I'm the first person when we started talking diversity and inclusion to break that glass door in corporate America in the South. And since then, it's been okay. Everybody,
it's normal now for everyone to walk through that door. They don't know who was the first person that took a stab at it. But I really want to applaud you and acknowledge you for what you mentioned there about having a painful life experience, but it has taught you and enlarged your world vision of how to project empathy to others. And I think when we first met, you absolutely more than 20,000 people that I know, the way you projected that empathy towards me. I was standing alone in a beautiful, amazing hall with more than maybe 1,000 people, and you were celebrating a special anniversary with your amazing wife. And I was feeling a little lost because I'm new to the Metroplex, and you had a very unique way of weaving through the crowd. You spotted a guy leaning to the wall, you're scratching his head, and you wove through the crowd and made a beeline and pulled my hand and connected me with someone who has gone on to become someone that I respect so much. I got to, even know more about his family, but it's thanks to you. And I think that empathy, you're not just saying words that are easy to say. You absolutely live that. And I want to use that to encourage others that, hey, as we go forward, we should project that empathy towards others. And I thank you so much for that. And that's not the only one. There are multiple examples of that. So I really applaud you for being a true mentor and inspiration and avant-garde in that area, and many others. So as we wrap this up, I don't want to take more time. Doc, if someone came to you and say, "What's your superpower?" What would you say that it is?
My superpower. I always told people that the greatest thing I've done in my life is not professional accomplishment. The greatest thing I've done in my life is to nurse my son back from a deathbed to a position where he is now a productive member of society. So if somebody asks me who's my superhero today, it is in fact my son.
Wow, the one who had that challenging experience. Yes.
Who with that is now independently living. He is a leader where he works. He's from when we thought he wouldn't get up from the bed. He's finished his master's degree. He's sooner going to do his PhD. So that is the singular accomplishment I pride myself in. And my superhero is him. My superpower is the encouragement that I draw from him, that he continues to take life in leaps and bounds, even with his shortcomings.
Wow. This is very deep. And whoever is listening, I hope you're picking this up. So if someone came to you and say, Dr. Tometi, what does it take to be successful in America? In very short, maybe 1 or 2, 3 words, 3, 4, 5 sentences. What does it take to be successful in America? I know you mentioned intelligence and preparation. I don't know, maybe you'll go back to those ones, or maybe there are others you want to drop in here, just like James.
You must continuous learning. And you must understand this is a totally different environment. Forget about where you're coming from. This is a credit society. You can't do anything without credit in this society. And number 4, do not take your civic responsibilities lightly. When that time comes and you have to vote, please vote. Every politics is local. The whole thing that affects your livelihood, it comes from your city hall, not from the White House. It comes from your city hall. The taxes you pay on your home, the taxes you pay on water, electricity, the roads, all of those things come from city. And try as much as possible to participate in anything that affects your life. Grab it. Make sure you're on the table. You're not on the menu.
Be at the table, not on the menu. Here's my last question, Doc. It's not a got you question. It's just a question to see how you feel comfortable. Where would you feel comfortable? You walk into a room. There are 4 chairs. One of them is standing within a triangle. The chair that is standing within a triangle. The second chair is standing within a square. The third chair is standing within a circle. And the fourth chair is standing within a squiggly, kind of like twisted, not clearly defined. So just 4 chairs, you could choose one of them to sit on. Maybe the one within the triangle, the one within
I can tell you which one.
The square, the circle, or the squiggly.
With the circle. Give this impression to everybody that they have equal access to you.
Thank you, sir.
You let them understand that the distance between you and each of them is the same.
Mm.
You let them understand that the impact you're giving to the person sitting in chair 1 is the same impact you're giving to the person in chair 10. It's like the Lord has given everybody their talent. You're putting it right back to them, that it is now for them to use it the best.
Wow. Wow. That is absolutely right. Coming from the science of psychogeometrics, the people that choose a circle are the people that love harmony. The people like they get along well with people, and I think it is it's no coincidence that you chose that. I'm very grateful for you spending this time with us, sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge, hard-earned experiences of living in this ocean called America. And thank you, Dr. Tomedi, and God bless in all that you're doing, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You.